Hey everybody, and welcome to another video. I hope you guys had a lot of fun during the summer vacation, and well, it's still very hot out here, but I was thinking to continue now with my series after this short summer break. And the next topic I would like to aim in the next couple of weeks is the topic meteors, so falling stars. Pretty interesting topic, of course. All the things that are somehow covered with cosmic dust are interesting for me. Anyway, we will tackle this topic in the next couple of weeks, but I was thinking, since a lot of you guys joined in the last couple of months and on my older videos, they are, well, I didn't speak so fluently as I do now, or almost. I was thinking maybe before we start with this new project, I would like to give you a step-by-step guidance on how to set up my repository so that you can really dive into the topic with all the coding and stuff. So today, a short video on how to set up everything. And then next week, we will start with our meteor signs. So let's go into the code. Well, for our tutorial code, we need 4 steps. The very first step is we need to install Python and also Git, which is pretty straightforward. Then we need to clone our repository from GitHub, and then we have to set up the virtual environment in Python. So 4 steps, quite easy and quite straightforward on Windows and on macOS. So if you're a Linux person, you are probably an advanced user, so I assume you know already what you're doing. And for Python, you simply go to python.org to downloads and then download the most recent version, which is Python 3.11.4. So you will download an exe file or a pkg file for macOS, and then you follow up the installation instructions, which is pretty simple and straightforward. After the installation, we have to download or install Git. So yeah, there are also some command line tools and so on, but if you like to do it more in an interact or with a nice UI, I can recommend you GitHub Desktop. And you simply go on desktop.github.com, you download the most recent version. Here it's for macOS or for Windows, and then you install it the same as Python, and then you have the 2 key elements to install everything. Now we have all the building blocks and we need to clone the repository. And the repository is built up quite simply. So we have some project folders, like a generic folder with generic scripts. We have something about near-Earth objects, about asteroid spectra, and also about the Cassini project, which has also a subfolder. So there will be more folders added over time. So you need to clone the entire repository. You simply copy paste this one here. So the link is also in the description to Astronized YouTube tutorials. You need to open GitHub Desktop, and then you go here to the very top to the file, and then clone repository. So this sub window is opened. You go to URL, you copy paste the URL, and then also the local path where you would like to have it. Here an error will spawn because I already did that, so I already have a project folder called Astronized YouTube Tutorials, but simply click on clone. It just takes a few seconds, and then you have the entire repository. Be aware that some auxiliary files are being downloaded in the tutorial. So if you skip certain scripts and then you execute something and certain files cannot be found, then it's very likely that you need to execute some download scripts beforehand. So just go through the scripts. They have also some markdowns. They are quite self-explanatory. So go through it and yeah, get the repository running. But before you can execute it, you need to install the Python virtual environment. Now let's click here on cancel, and let's see how the folder looks like. So this is like the folder which is copy pasted from or cloned from the GitHub page. And to set up now the virtual environment, we need to take a look here at the requirements txt, where we have all Python libraries to install. But we have also a Docker file for VS Code. But to be honest, I like VS Code for creating or writing software tools or libraries during my working time. But for the tutorials, the Jupyter Notebook architecture is more convenient and more flexible. So yeah, play around with the Docker file, but I didn't maintain it well, so maybe I should also delete it. Yeah, so let's see how we install now the virtual environment. So we open now a terminal window and we check our project folder that we have now here, our Astronize folder with all the content. And what we need to do now is first we need to set up a virtual environment and then install all the requirements. So how do we do that? Well, I don't like to create a virtual environment in the project folder, because then I get the suggestion from Git to add it to my repository. I know I can ignore these files, but I would like to have it lean and clean and separate. So here I have my projects folder. You can now create your environment folder for different environments or somewhere else. Let's do it quite straightforward. Python 3 minus venv. This tells Python to create a virtual environment, and then I just write something like, I don't know, Astronize environment, and then press enter, and this takes a few seconds to create the virtual environment. So that's basically it. What we need now is we need to activate the virtual environment. So we have to, let's say, in a way, log into the environment. The folder is being created and everything, but we are not yet in this encapsulated environment. In this encapsulated environment, you can do anything. You can break everything and test everything. It's pretty nice, because if it doesn't work anymore, you can delete it and create it from scratch. So yeah, just try it out. It's pretty nice, and I wouldn't recommend to mess around with the system, with the Python system installation. So how do we activate it? For Mac, you write source and then Astronize env, which is the directory. Then in the binaries we have something called activate. We press enter, and now you see before my name and the Mac Mini naming, we see here Astronize env, which tells us in brackets that we are now in the virtual environment. And what we need now is we need to install with pip all our requirements. So yeah, let's go maybe in the Astronize YouTube tutorial, and then we do pip install -r requirements.txt, and this tells pip to install packages. They're like NumPy, like Matplotlib, but we do not write down the names. The names are in the requirements.txt, and we simply have to press enter, and now we have to wait for a few seconds or minutes to install all the stuff. So let's wait a little bit. After installing everything, we get here a warning, which is not crucial. It just tells us that we should or could upgrade pip. So yeah, you can execute the command here, or you just simply write pip install --upgrade pip. Yeah, but yeah, it's quite simple and quite fast. So now we have our virtual environment, everything is installed, the requirements txts are also installed. We are still in the folder Astronize YouTube tutorials, and now if everything has been installed successfully, we can write Jupyter lab, Jupyter-lab. So we press enter, and then the Jupyter lab is being initiated, and it runs then in our preferred browser. So localhost 8888 is our folder, and now we have here the repository. We are in our virtual environment, and everything should run now. So we have here like in project general, we go to 004 the Earth, for example, and this was a tutorial where what did I do here? Yeah, I computed the distance, I think, and the velocity, no, the distance from Earth to the Sun, to show that the tools I'm using make sense. So we can press here on this double triangle, which executes everything. Yes, I would like to restart the kernel and get through it. And then you see here the small asterisk, which indicates that the cell is currently running. And now let's see if our import and everything went through successfully. Yeah, we see everything works perfectly, and yeah, the current distance to our sun is 1.01 astronomical units, with 1 astronomical unit being the average distance between Earth and Sun. Okay, we are now ready with our setup, so everything has been installed, and I hope it works also for you guys. Again, the next weeks will be about meteors, so I just prepared something. The next video will be about the theory of meteors, and then we will talk about something like meteor streams, the sporadics, what are the Perseids or the Geminids, maybe you have heard about them and where do they come from. And at the very end of this tutorial, we'll also use machine learning to see if we can find streams in our meteor data with machine learning. So yeah, if we have some tasks for the next couple of weeks until autumn, I would say, and I hope you stay tuned and you're looking forward to this tutorial, next tutorial season as I am, and thanks for watching.